time to get into a Jim Henson creation, The Dark Crystal. As a kid, I watched the movie, and of course, there recently came out with a TV show to kind of commemorate it. As my cat wants attention, like usual, say like, "Hey, look, yes, get this book, yeah, yes, you want attention, I know." But back to The Dark Crystal, into the world of Thra. Now, the movie was released back in like the early 80s, and the TV show was recently on Netflix in the last 4 or 5 years or so. Now, as far as I know, they have yet to release it. It was canceled after the first season, and they have yet to release any more. So that's the unfortunate thing about Netflix is not all the, of course, TV in general. Not all great TV shows get like a lasting series. So in this one, it's all about like getting like into an adventure in the world of Thra right after like the TV series, which sets up the movie. So this is like the TV show as well before the actual movie and everything. So that it talks about like the whole concept of this. So like it gets into like, as you can see, the dice and pencils and stuff, character sheet, GM sheet. So here's the character sheet, so like you can see like the different abilities that you get, the traits, gear, effects, notes, your health. And then like this is actually like in a sense turn based, so like you'll start and kind of work your way day by day until like you get all the way pretty much out until like the end. So it's like like I said, it's a day by day thing, so like you're pretty much running against the clock to kind of like get your to get your objectives done. So first thing, it's like, okay, this is just a game, relaxed, goes over the rules. You want me read ahead, get the character set up, and then like the adventure, and then it gets into creating characters. And so like the big difference between this and most games like D&D or Pathfinder is this treats combat as much more dangerous, and it's a lot easier to get killed. And so like they want you to kind of find ways around to like instead of rushing into combat like most D&D and Pathfinder campaigns do, like the good old hack and slash. This rewards more role playing, like the immersive role playing, which is on the other end of the spectrum, other than your hack and slash. So here, back to this, is again into the actual like clans of the Gelflings, that as you can see. So like I said, this is based off like after season 1 of the TV show. So then you get into like once you pick your clan, you're getting those like skills that we saw back with your character sheet. So then it gets into like how like you use them, like your specialization, like how like you get better at them. And then you picks up like your flaws, like maybe like maybe you have like as you can see, like a phobia. Maybe you have a phobia of spiders or something. You can play that out and everything. So then you start to bring it all together with step 6, the summons. You can like just think of like in the movie this summon like the Landstriders that they summon. So yes, and that now it gets into like the actual like playing the game. So like it gets into like the difficulties and everything. So and then, like basically like the easiest you can get, and like pretty much like next to impossible and everything. It gets into skills, teamwork, improved and hindered, sort of like advantage and disadvantage from like a D&D. Gets into your traits, those flaws, like dream fast, and sort of like reference in the movie with Jen and the other girlfriend. The name escapes me at the moment. So then you get into your gear and stuff like that. And so like now it does have rules for fighting. And like I said, this treats fighting as like much more dangerous. And so like you want to avoid combat as much as possible, because like if you like think like the look at the monsters here versus the Gelflings, like you're very, like a small size versus like a large size, so like you're very at such a disadvantage. That's why that combat is considered so much dangerous. You want to kind of find ways around it. So it gets into like the experience points and like leveling. So it's a lot different than leveling like your traditional games like D&D or Pathfinder. So then like actually gets into like running the game. So like the scenes and travel, region, location, event, darkens, like exploration, the action scenes, what they can do, action scene or a test, player turns, enemy turns, and like gets into pretty much all like the different like concepts of like the different things, and then we get into like the game master tips and everything. So all the ideas you can run as like a GM. So like and then gets into like the actual like the world of Thra. So the Skeksis Empire, and then like it actually goes into the Skeksis, the Resistance. So like it's pretty much this is the Age of Resistance. So like and it shows here the timeline. Like you can see here at the end of the third conjunction, you can see here where we are, the Age of Resistance. So it gives you a good timeline of the actual like backstory, and so like the gives you the kind of like the tit for tat for the Skeksis and the Mystics, and then it gets you into this is the actual adventure book. So like it gets you into like the actual adventure. So then like beginnings knowledge, and so like it gets you into the different areas, and like different like the as we pull this one out, and you can see like the whole idea, like the concept of like of this, like the Monda Levidian, probably butchering that and everything. Everyone's favorite boblins, like the. All right, let's see. As like they fumble through this real quick, the Dreaming Isles goes into like the different areas. Lost Island, as you can see, like the different areas back on like the map here, and it's going through each of the different areas as we're going through the actual adventure and everything. So like I said, it's pretty much like a race against time, as like the getting back to like the little like I said, it's race against time with that. Go through like the different areas as this like explains like the different areas and different sections of the actual adventure. So like you can in a sense do this multiple times, and like maybe like or run it one time and then kind of like set up for further adventures after this. So this is kind of as I'm flipping kind of quickly through this to kind of get the kind of like just get through it kind of quick, because this is the actual adventure part and I don't want to like ruin too much. So like they do have like fold outs for like some sections. So like and like as you can see, it kind of gets into each of those sections of the map that we saw at the front. And of course Augurs, the Hollow, some of the a lot of the characters from the movie along with the TV show appear in this adventure book as well. So like you'll see a lot of like familiar faces and like familiar creatures and stuff like that as you go through the adventure. So like as like you can see, this whole like book is kind of like a kind of detailed with each little section of the world as you move through the adventure in each section of the world. And like I'll reiterate, this is pretty much like a race against time, that you're trying to like in a sense beat the clock and stuff to like because you only have a certain amount of time to be able to complete the adventure, to kind of like stop the Skeksis from completing their objectives and everything. So what better villain to have than the Skeksis and everything. So as we quickly go through, you can see how like in depth this like adventure is with each of like the actual sections, and it gives like good detail on it like in each page. So like kind of like as you move quickly through each of the sections, so like you're trying to beat the darkening. That's the whole concept of the book. So like well before the actual like grand conjunction in the movie. So like in a sense, like you're trying to go up against the Skeksis and kind of like think that watch the TV show on Netflix. Like as far as I know, it's still on there. So like it's only one season, so it's relatively easy to catch up. So that way you have background information, like, oh, okay, so this is where it's gone. This is where it's set up, and like this is where this book kind of comes in. And so like you can pick this up at like pretty much any of your like gaming stores. So like if they don't have it in stock, then like they should be able to get it for you relatively easy. So it might just take a little while to get it if they don't have it in stock. So like I had gotten this probably like a 7-8 months ago at this point, and like I'm finally getting around to showing people, and so like you can see like good old like sketches and stuff like for like the actual map in here. And as we continue moving through the actual sections and different like areas of the world, and like kind of going through this kind of quickly, so like I don't show too much of it and everything. Like of course doing the typical flip through, and as you can see we have like another like stencil flip through that we can use for like that one. So like then we're getting near the end of the adventure, so like the whole idea is like kind of trying to stop the darkening of the crystal and everything. So then it gets into like toolkits, so stuff you like need. So like basically stuff you're going to come across, like think of like all the equipment in like the equipment chapter, like armors and weapons, and like adventure and gear like you find in like the player's handbook. This is kind of the concept of this section. And so like that whole main section was as the quick flip through was the actual adventure itself, and now we're getting to the gear and the like the monsters and good old Fizzgig. Yeah, like rah 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 rah, and the Garthim from before, how they're like huge and the Gelflins are small and everything. So that's why they consider combat dangerous, and they try to like teach like in this game like, hey, look, it's dangerous, and so like it's easy for you to lose characters and everything, and like you kind of don't want that to happen. So that's why you kind of want to avoid combat and kind of like slink around and be like rogues in a sense. So then we get into like the actual like art gallery. They kind of getting into like this is kind of like the I always find the cool part, because like the concept art and like the props and stuff that they actually used for the movie plus the TV show. So like you can get into like to see how great in detail the stuff actually was and everything. So like this was done by the Jim Henson Company, and of course they were like responsible for like everything back in like the 80s, like the Muppets and the movie, this movie, like Labyrinth, like, and like of course the Brian Henson went on and that took control and was able to do like the Farscape TV show with all the puppets, like with the pilot and Rigel. And like if you don't like know what Farscape is, go check that TV show out. So it's one of, if not the best sci-fi show out there. And check out like the video I've done on the actual role-playing game, and that's based on that TV show. So you got like little like tethers you can use to kind of mark your place. You got like it comes with like a little bookmark as well. And so like I ended up getting this for like $45, but like you might think like $45 for like a small book like this. It's like, yeah, okay, it's like you might be turned off on it by that, but like this is actually kind of a steal, considering like you get something completely different other than your typical Pathfinder and D&D. So $45 is definitely well worth to get like an alternative. And even when you go through the adventure itself, you can get you're set up to continue it, or you kind of redo it and run through different have different people run through it. So like you kind of have like multiple iterations, so like endless entertainment and everything with just this and everything. And of course it's pulling like from the TV series and the movie and everything. So for like $45, it's definitely well worth it if you're looking, especially if you're looking for something other than your like typical D&D and Pathfinder. So this is definitely a steal that you're going to want to pick up at one of your local gaming stores.